Good evening, Mondnock region, and welcome to this episode of Go Mo Tonight. I'm here in the Space Lounge with my co-hosts.
Zoe Roten-Heinsman.
And Sam Abbott.
And I am, of course, Chris D. Loretto. And you are linked in with this area's only hyper-local interest comedy podcast. Pleased to be able to say that we've got our second guest as part of this program, the estimable or inestimable local luminary, Bill Taylor, select board member, town of Peterborough. He's going to join us at the end of the program for we had a rousing conversation earlier. But first, this week's top stories. And what we have for you this week, did you know that Peterborough Camera Copies and More, LLC, in conjunction with the Peterborough Lions Club, which some, I will not name any names, but some have accused of acting like a mafia. But together, they have come together. Hey, look, the mafia does community service too. They have come together to offer people a place to dispose of plastic bags that they can't dispose of anywhere else. So this means Amazon air pillows. I've never heard of those before, but if you want to bring one, you have to deflate it. Sounds awful. Plastic pallet bags, plastic shopping bags, any other plastic bag or bubble wrap, save them. Don't put them in the blue Peterborough bags like I do and bring them to the dump. Save them, bring them to the Peterborough Camera Copies and More store. Keep them out of the landfill. Lions Club has got your back on this one. And I have it on good authority on the wire that more drop-off bins are being planned to be placed in other convenient locations around Peterborough.
Amen.
Have you guys taken part in this?
No, but I'm glad somebody's doing something about it.
Yep.
I'm just stuck on the fact that you have not heard of an Amazon air pillow. Do
what
your
the hell is an Amazon air pillow?
Do your packages not come with those like pillows of air?
Oh, those things. Oh,
Okay.
I got that. I was imagining like some sort of like knockoff Tempur-Pedic pillow that's filled with air instead of like memory foam, and they don't take them at dumps, and people don't like them, so they throw them away. I was making up this whole story in my head about this product that I didn't know about.
Plausible.
I mean, I've never heard them referred to by that technical term before, but I just assumed it was those things in the packages that are small pillows of air.
You have to be right about that. No. You have to be right, because my story about a product that I've never heard of that is so common that people need a place to dispose of them is so
common and so hated.
It's not plausible. So I'm going to go ahead and say you're probably right about that. Yeah. Well, now we got to. All right, good. I do get those, so I know what to do with them, rather than bringing them to our good friends at the Peterborough. I just say that to piss people off. They call it's the recycling center, guys. But I don't know. The dump just has such a better ring to it, in my opinion.
The transfer station is like way too euphemistic.
Yeah, it is. Right. Yeah. That like primes me to look for something more futuristic than it really is. You know what I mean? Like transfer station, I think like the apex of civilization. Like people have this all figured out. You know what I mean? They're just taking it to the transfer station, and it's going to be turned like its atoms are going to be like you know what I mean? Like what it's going to turn, they're going to turn it into nothing, like they're going to do in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like at the transfer station, like they put it in trains or whatever, and the trains take it to the place where they disassemble the atoms of the waste, or shoot it into the sun. I don't care which one, but I mean, because if it ever became cheap enough to shoot like gigantic ass rockets filled with trash, just shoot it into the sun. That was like no one could complain about that. It doesn't, like the sun doesn't mind, But until that day, take your plastic, to Peterborough Cameras, Copies, and More. So, other things that we have going on, Mondnock Underground, which was our original operation, that is still the same as it ever was, but I think it's our own fault, a little unfairly overshadowed by everything that we've been working on to launch Go Mondnock, right? But there's a ton going on the other side, on the creative side of our business that people, anyone interested in the creative spirit and scene of this region might like to hear about. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we're getting close to the end of our fall season of posting, I think. Definitely in the second half. We've been posting several new pieces a week. We've got awesome poems, new fiction. We were posting things from our latest book that came out this summer. 18 Mouths of Crimes.
Yes, for those of you not watching on YouTube, Chris is holding up a book that is dark blue.
And it says on the cover, 18 Mouths of Crimes, Volume 1.
That's right.
And that is our mystery Crimes and Spies collection that came out this summer.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, so it's been fun. We decided kind of as part of our transition to, basically like doubling the amount of stuff that we have to do in a given week, to take Mondnock Underground, which we didn't really have a formalized publishing schedule for. It was kind of sporadic. When we first launched in 2019, we had a ton of submissions, and we were doing like 4 or 5 posts a week, which over time the volume, as one would expect, drops off a little bit, and we don't even really have the time to be publishing 4 or 5 pieces a week every week. We did it for like 2 months or something like that, and then intentionally stepped off the gas. And ever since then, you could say that it's been kind of sporadic and unpredictable, and we post some pieces here and some pieces there. We came to the conclusion, though, that it would make more sense, both in terms of like managing our own labor effectively and doing the best service to the writers that we're trying to promote with these pieces, if we concentrated them intentionally into a couple of what we're calling seasons of the year. So that's why we actually refer to something called the fall season. Is we had a 2 or 3 month open submissions period, which we're about to start another one. For the spring season, we'll be taking submissions for the first couple months of the year. We took submissions, evaluated them, etc. And then basically at the end of September, right around the same time as we launched Go Mondnock, we began the fall season. And so I believe we had a total of like 15 to 20 pieces that we're stretching out over a period of about 8 weeks. And that's been a real treat. It's been great to be publishing new stuff on there again, and to have it really kind of feel organized and intentional. And after this, we'll take a break for a while. But we've done, of course, as always, we've got monthly columns on Mondnock Underground from Dan Cesney. Little bit of a sneak peek into what's coming in 2022, but he's going to be doing a new column in addition to the Transcendental Dad that we publish at Mondnock Underground. And to be honest, I forget what it's called, but we will be having a monthly Dan Cesney column at Go Mondnock as well every single month. So that's cool. But we've had a couple Dan Cesney pieces just this week. I'm really pleased to say anybody who's been a fan of Mondnock Underground for any length of time knows who Jared Radke is. Jared's back with a new original piece. He's truly one of our most distinctive and unique and just truly creative writers that we have come into contact with at Mondnock Underground. It's always a very special pleasure to publish a Jared Radke piece. So we got a new piece from him called Punching on Maxie Smuts, came out this week. The debut of his romantic partner, Rachel Mussenden, with a really, really clever, interesting, just short vignette, called Married to a Cult Leader. we had
Which
a
that's going to be part of a longer thing that she's writing, and I really hope she lets us read that at least. I
oh,
want to read more from her.
I don't know that I realized that. I
Yeah.
definitely want to read whatever the hell that's a part of. Um, it's great. Anybody can check it out. I'll link to the season. We've got a special link for that in the show notes. We'll put that in there. But we've got Halloween week. We did a couple of kind of creepy horror tales. John Mara story called The Triple Monadnock Tryst. Diane Kane, another one of our repeat favorite authors, been in multiple collections. Has been submitting with us from the very beginning. We had a piece from her called The Creeps, a psychological thriller there. I mean, this is just the last couple of weeks here, too. We've got poems. Bill Chatfield's out there. Rachel Sturgis, former youth poet laureate of New Hampshire. Kay Kinderman poem, a few weeks back about poison ivy, incidentally. So lots of great stuff. That's been coming out. Oh, and going back, I think the beginning of the season maybe was a piece by Sam Johnson, another a friend of ours, and a multiple time published guy with us, called In Its Proper Place, about a young girl following a rabbit on a life changing journey. And man, we got some interesting stuff. We have 2, maybe 3 weeks left of this, and there's still some really hard hitting pieces to come. So definitely check that out.
So one thing I want to add that we're doing with this season is that we're going to give prizes.
That's right.
And I think we're going to do that for the spring season as well.
Yes, we are. We're going to do it for all the seasons.
Cool.
Yeah.
But it's going to be so hard to vote. I've been thinking about this. What
It's
I
gonna
would
be
choose.
real hard.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. So what we announced at the beginning is that there would be another unique twist. We've never done this before. Is that the top 5 pieces that we accept. So that's like the top 25% of the cream of the cream, really, because I mean this is all good stuff. Like Zoe said, it's really hard to pick. But those writers will get what do they get? A copy of any of our books,
I think
plus
that's what
some
we said,
honor and dignity. I think
at least honor
a
and
special
dignity.
title, some kind. So there is a little bit of a competitive aspect here. I'm really excited about it because we could go a lot of different directions with who ends up winning these things, and they could all be correct. They could all be correct.
Yeah. And so we've always made it's been a priority from day one to give at least a little bit of financial support to the writers that appear in our print collections, but
Very
we've
small
never
fee, but they appreciate it.
But
Yeah.
something important to us to give them. But we've never
It's
done
frankly,
anything.
it's usually like half the budget to publish the book for any of these collections is just paying a very small amount to the writers.
That's true. And a lot of places will cover that by charging submission fees, which we don't do. We'll read whatever people send our way.
Yes. Sometimes to our detriment, but not usually.
Not usually. But yeah, so it feels good to at least have some kind of prize for the online writers, because they're all great too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We're also toying with at some point down the line doing a best of online collection that we put into paperback, and certainly the 5 winners of this season will appear in that collection, and quite possibly some others as well, though, because like I said, there's more than 5 that deserve to be highlighted extra, let's say. Yeah.
And also, so coming up next week, Mondnock Underground is returning to the Peterborough Town Library for the first time since March 2020, when we released our second quarterly magazine and basically shut the place down.
That's
and
how
they had
COVID
to
started.
tear down. What's that?
That's how COVID started.
That is. That's how COVID started, right there. That's why they had to tear down so much of the library. They were this front part that we were in, so magnificent, the rest just doesn't stand up to it.
Like Corinne said, they need a place to put our oil portraits.
That's right. That's right. I mean, this is Corinne confirmed now.
Yes, it is. This is Peterborough canon.
But we're returning with a writer's night out. It'll be kind of like an open mic from 5:30 to 7 on Thursday, November 18th. It's a week from
Yes.
today, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you have something to read, something to share, show up at 5:30, get your name on the list, and it should be fun. It's the first time
Yeah.
we'll have done one of these, so
Yeah, we're excited, and definitely if you want to just listen, show up at 5:30 also.
oh yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah. It's not just for writers, but it's going to be pretty exciting. We're anticipating a fair amount of attendees and a fair amount of people doing readings. And what we wanted to do this time around, kind of having the opportunity to start over with new collaborations with the Peterborough Town Library. It's a new library, and everybody had that giant break in between there, right? Is why necessarily structure all of our events around like paperback releases that we do, and why not just make it interactive and open? We don't just have to have people reading from a Mondnock Underground thing. We can have people reading anything that they want, and maybe they can come and meet us, and maybe they want to submit something, and we can all talk, and writers can meet each other, and networking, and it generates the creative energies that we need to flow, and that's really kind of the whole point of Mondnock Underground in the first place. So this is going to be a monthly thing, and actually today is November 11th as we're recording this. This was initially going to be the first inaugural Writers' Night Out, because from here on out, starting in December, it's going to be on the second Thursday of the month. Thanks to Sam, we had to do it on the third Thursday because the library's closed for Veterans Day today. That is, we're really stoked about that, and we're like every month. I mean, we're gonna have a big thing, and I'm already planning. I got I'm gonna borrow one of those giant coffee carafe things, so we can have some flight coffee. There's gonna be flight coffee, free flight coffee at this, by the way. The library's providing tea and water. This is gonna be really kick-ass. It's gonna be a good time. And in the new 1833 room of the library, let's not forget to mention that. Spectacular space to have events in, which can be rented by you. Yeah.
I have not been in that room.
Oh,
I have
really?
been to the library now. Since
Yeah.
I don't know if I've announced that on air, but yes, I have been back several times, but I haven't been in that room.
It's cool. It's an awesome place to have. Like, I can't wait to do readings in this room. Like, it's badass.
Is this the big room overlooking the river on the right
side?
Yeah,
yeah, big room overlooking the river, like giant narrow windows that like belong in a castle, going up, and like super high ceilings with the lights coming down. Oh, it's sick.
Like narrow windows for shooting arrows out of, kind of thing?
Could be.
Not that narrow.
They're not that narrow. No, they're not. No, like an enemy could see you in it and attack you back. It's not quite an
like in a castle in terms of like grandeur, not like
yes,
defense.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. In a castle in terms of style and grandeur, indeed.
Okay. Got the right picture in mind now.
Yes, indeed. So join us then. This episode will be coming out just prior to that event, so hopefully you've listened to this in time. But of course, we will be promoting it online all over the place between now and then. It's one week to go, so there's that. And this is the point in the episode where I'm very pleased to announce that this episode is sponsored by artist Brandy Patterson's Holiday Shopping Artist Open Studio, happening December 11th from 12 to 4 p.m. in the sunny Vale of Manchester, New Hampshire, 117 Guilford Street. Now, oftentimes, we just talked about Mondnock Underground, and sometimes we do this out in the street, but a lot of times we're out here promoting local writers. This time we're promoting local artists. All right. Brandy is a friend of mine, and a contemporary artist who has a very unique process when the way that she works with not just color and the paint and the medium that she's painting on, but also the sound and the light that's going on in the room as she is creating her art. It's a very interactive experience. And at this holiday shopping artist open studio, you are going to be able to meet her in person. She's opening up her home, her and Chad, who is our sound lord. She's going to have original artwork in two categories, under $50 and also over $50. These over $50 pieces are for those looking for like a larger statement piece, ready for something bold, some bold color on your walls. Under 50, of course, perfect for gifts and first time art collection. So, we're talking affordable stuff, even on the larger end. She's going to have hot cocoa and apple cider. And I bet you she'll be really excited to talk to you about this process that she does as she shows you her cool studio. I've seen it myself. It's a really great place. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm obviously not a painter, but it made me kind of want to be one because it's a great space to kind of want to be in. So really excited for Brandy, really excited to promote it. So this episode sponsored by artist Brandy Patterson. We're going to have a link both to this Facebook event for the Holiday Shopping Artist Open Studio and a link to Brandy's website where you can go and check out all of this art for yourself, which I'm telling you, you want to do. It's great stuff. And I think that for Christmas this year, well, I was going to say for Christmas this year, I'm going to get one, get a couple of her things for other people. But you know what, guys? I'm going to get a couple of her things for myself. And that's that.
That's nice, Chris.
Yeah. It's our first promo. If you want to sponsor this program, you can have a great, persuasive, very smooth, almost seductive advertisement like you just heard for a very low rate, one that reaches a very specific hyper-local audience that is very attentive to what we're saying on here. Trust me on this one. Reach out to Sam at Mondnock We'll have that in the show notes as well. He's your guy for booking your sponsorship. Get in before your competitors. Brandy got in before any of the artists, even in the Monadnock region. She's going to kill you guys. That's what happens. So that's the effect here. So sponsor Como tonight. We got weekly episodes, so the opportunity is yours. All right. In fact, here at MU Media, we are basically filled to the brim with opportunities for people, right? I mean, we've got opportunities up the wazoo. Tell them about some of this. Tell the people about some of the stuff we need, some of the ways they might be able to get in on this action, this crazy zoo we got going on here.
Well, speaking of zoo animals, I thought it was a stable. Do they have stables at zoos? We joined our zoo stable of writers.
We've got quite a stable of voices writers. You could be the next horse.
What's that?
And you could be the next horse.
You could be the next horse in our voices stable at our zoo.
At our zoo farm.
At our zoo farm. You've got perspectives, you've got thoughts, you've got ideas, and we want to hear them and share them.
Yeah, the reality is we're trying to put together a core group of like the most dynamic and visionary people in this area for all the crap that we give people around here and the general state of society. We all truly at heart firmly believe that there is an energy here. There is vision. There is inspiration welling up from the earth and down from the sky, coming off of the mountain, etc. We know it's here. We know you have it. Reach out to us. Come and be a part of this. We're all getting together and we're doing it collaboratively here at Go Monadnock.
So that you would email submit@monadnockunderground.com. If you have an idea, if you have something already written, if you're just like, hey, this is what I might want to write about, send it.
Yeah, we take pitches. We're happy to have a conversation about an idea you might have, work through it with you, etc. I am certain that if you're out there thinking like, I have this thing that I could do that's like, it sounds kind of weird and it's different from the other stuff that they have done, but like it's, I don't know if I should tell them about it. Yes, you should. You should tell us about it because I bet you we haven't thought about it and it's a good idea and we're gonna incorporate it. So, the choice is yours.
I mean, we once published a popular column about someone's dreams, so
Yes, we did.
we're
Yes, and
open.
it
We're
was
open to
popular.
all
People loved
kinds
it.
of wild ideas around here.
People loved it.
Yeah.
That was one of our first recurring features at Mondnock Underground was dreamscapes. And there were some truly out there dreams, and and it's funny too because there's that old saying like nobody wants to hear about your fucking dreams. You know what I mean? Like just don't do that. No, seriously, people read these. People really liked them. They had fans. It was great. I don't know if that's true about your dreams. These might have been special, but don't send us your dreams. But
It was more an example of like the things we've dabbled with in the past, not like let's keep doing that over and over.
No, I know. But people get confused easily. So we're not looking for more dreams. But any other ideas that you might have that might be unique and strange, we're open to it. Send it our way. Send it our way. But besides just that's the voices section really features on perspectives and ways of thinking, suggestions for behavior for people around town. Like I wrote a really positive one that just came out today about how Halloween melted my heart. I think I'm going to follow it up with a piece called "Stop Wearing Ugly Coats." So fashion advice in there as well. But we also have a reviews section on the site that we are looking to build out. And this is another section that really is wide open to you. But obviously it's specific to things that you are reviewing. But like, obviously, if you have something local that you want to talk about, if you want to talk about a meal that you just had, a theatrical performance that you went to, perhaps a concert, a show, especially if it's by a local act, or even if it's Keller Williams at the Townhouse, right? Keller Williams is not local, but of course Peterborough Townhouse is. Maybe you want to talk about how good that show was and how cool it is to see a show in the Townhouse from a first-person perspective, okay? All of those things. We welcome them. We want them. We want to start writing them ourselves, but we are so busy doing Go Monadnock stuff that a lot of times we can't even get to the events ourselves. So please, send us those things. Same thing. Submit at monadnockunderground.com. But also, it's not just limited to that. Anything cultural that did you just read? I mean, we're not necessarily going to publish it. You know what I mean? I could probably think of a dozen books off the top of my head that if you wrote a review of it, I probably wouldn't. I don't even know if I would read the review. But so it's got we're not. It's not a free for all here. But you read a book that you think you might have something interesting to say about. You watched a film, whether it's new or from 1967. I don't care. Write something about it. Anything, an album, a song, a musical artist, even a museum exhibit in Boston or something like that. A Charlie Chronopoulos show in Manchester, something like that. Anything cultural that you have a position, that got to be, clear about that, writing a review, you have to take a personal position about it and, relate it to your life and in the lives of others. But if you can do that about something, send it our way. We really love that. We'd love to see it. And it that's going to go a long way to allowing this whole operation to help kind of further serve the community with more feedback, from within, and but in an elevated way.
I was going to say too, with the reviews, they don't necessarily have to be positive.
No, they do not.
Right. And I think that's important to remember too. And I mean, not that we're going to just berate people either, but critical reviews is like, hey, it can be critical, right? And maybe a meal wasn't good. Maybe the service wasn't good.
That's right. And this isn't like Yelp where like throw us 1 star and be like, I said I wanted it rare and they gave it to me medium rare. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. But like, it does not have to be positive. That's the way of the world. We want to report the truth, and a bad review of a place is not defamatory. You know what I mean? Like I think that people think that sometimes, and nor will it take down a small business to have a restaurant or whatever to have a bad review. So we're not encouraging negativity, but we do not be shy about it either. Obviously, we're not kindergarten teachers here. Yeah,
that's one way of putting it. Yeah,
that's one way. It is one way. Actually, I mean, I shouldn't say that because like one of my favorite people is Nancy Wilson, who was Manny's kindergarten teacher for a number of years, and she doesn't fall into that stereotype. And so I feel like I'm painting all kindergarten teachers with this bad brush, and I really don't mean to do that. But this is not a child-proofed safe room here at Go Monadnock, obviously. Hopefully that's clear by now. Yeah, obviously. Given that we got like the who did we make mad this week? Which to be honest, this week I think it's nobody. I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it on purpose or not, but I didn't piss anybody off really since the last time. Not even I don't think it's intentional. I don't know. But so just throwing that out there. I mean, I did kind of go off on a major rant about that stupid bedroom searching thing, which actually happened last week. The teenage bedroom. I even had people being like, it's not technically the rec committee that's putting this on. It's like what is the place called? The like
Reality
Scared
Check.
Straight Reality Check, like whatever bullshit dare organization. They bring in a DEA officer. Do you know that? I mean, like that's
no.
like,
It's like it's 100% the rec department. Like, they're like contracting Reality Check, but Reality Check didn't like drive their mock teen bedroom
no,
up.
they didn't just come up and be like, hey, can we like put on an ad hoc teenage bedroom searching clinic? Like a pop-up. We're doing a pop-up this week.
Teen bedroom search.
Yeah, it's the hip thing in like paranoid parental circles.
It's like instead of a food truck, like
Yeah.
which teen bedroom variety, like
Yeah.
teen girl bedroom parked in the shopping center behind Charlie's. Teen boy bedroom at Post and Beam this weekend.
This is how you find your kids' shit. Yep. So, yeah, but I don't know. I do think I stirred up some people with that a little bit, but like, I don't know. I was so correct on that one that no one really argued too hard,
Yeah, it was hard to disagree with you, I think, on that one.
I mean, the common thing that came back was, maybe you don't need this, but like other people do or something like that, which I was like, I don't know. I don't think anybody needs that. And I think that people who think that they need that need other kinds of help. Right. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, look, you want to like deal with your kids being on drugs, like and all this stuff. Right. Here's like one really good trick that and look, I'm a fairly sharp and devious guy too, like it's not that I never got away with anything, but like I didn't get away with that much, just make it a habit to talk to your kids, just like talk to your kids, and if you do that, you're gonna fucking know if they're high. Have you ever, I mean, like they're not all 37-year-old Chris DiLoretto, you know what I'm saying? Like you can tell if someone's high most of the time, like I hope at 16 they're not that grizzled and like, world weary or whatever. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it's like I don't know, like when teenagers get baked, like and like people are like, well, there's just like some things that like I might not know about, like basically like what household cleaners and like prescription drugs should I hide? And it's like, well, look, if it's like an opiate, I hope you know that by now. Like I hope you didn't need the DEA to come in and be like, yeah, the really addictive painkillers, like your kids might try to steal them. They might. You should, I don't know where you've been for 20 years if you don't know that, but like, so like there's that, but like, and like the household cleaners, like again, If your kid is fucked up enough to be like clandestinely like having a keyboard duster habit in their bedroom that you're worried about not knowing about because you're not aware of how they can get high on it, man, you're not talking to your kids. You're not talking to them if they have that habit and you don't know about it and you need the DEA to tell you how to figure it out, okay? Like, God, like that's not just like I don't know. That's not how it works, guys. And here, let me tell you one more piece of advice. This wasn't even in our agenda for this program, but because I didn't piss anybody off this week, we had to add it in. Like, this is one of those things that, like, someone with different judgment than myself might not say, but it's one of those things that like we all know is true, which is like, all right, look, guys, we're in Peterborough here. Do you know what happens to upper middle class teenagers that do drugs? Do you know what happens to those people? They go on to successful upper middle class careers, like at an astoundingly high rate. It's like almost 100%. So I don't know, like try not to fret too much. Like it's really more about class and like where you start off than like the, nefarious bottomless hole of like trying marijuana or whatever. Like your kids are going to be fine. They're going to be professionals like you. Don't worry about it. All right. Unless civilization collapses, granted, their economic fortunes are probably not going to be as good as yours, in which case they're going to need to know how to use drugs. All right. So like, just like it's all, there's multiple paths here, but like either way, your kids are going to be fine. Anyways, but we were supposed to be segueing into something more relevant to what we were talking about earlier, which is that in addition to all of these great, creative writing on Mondnock Underground, perspectives that we want to feature in the voices section on Gomo, and our burgeoning reviews that we're creating. After the success of our official guide to Halloween, we are planning a like balls to the wall, all out holiday special guide to come out. It's not going to, for some reason, they're doing the holiday stroll in Peterborough like next weekend or something, like on the 20th or whatever. So the holiday stroll will not be in the guide because there's no way we'll have the guide done in time for that. But besides that event, starting on December 1st, we're going to be covering it all. We're going to tell you, all the cool events that are going on, concerts, places to go buy stuff, what kind of non-ugly coats that you can buy at those places, assuming that they sell them, because it's really hard in New Hampshire because people don't know how to dress. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Sneak preview for the guide. No, this will. I don't know if this will make it into the guide, but this will be in my column that comes out before the guide. Is you know how they tell you like to dress for comfort, and there's no such thing as bad weather. There's only like unprepared clothes. For the love of God, forget you ever heard those things. They're not true. They're not true. Dress for looks. Only ever dress for looks, unless you're on a fucking mountain, okay? And you could die, okay? Do not dress for warmth. Dress to look good all year round. Winter's bad enough without everybody looking ugly. That'll be in our guide. Anything else? So it's going to be like a full page thing. No, it's not really going to be printed. It's going to be on the website, but there's going to be multiple different pages and all this stuff. It's going to be fantastic. But like, music, the specials, we'll even give advice. I always threaten to do this, and this year I'm going to do it, right? Because like, I see this is a little bit of a side tangent, but it should go in the guide. Every year around this time, it starts around this time, but it'll begin in earnest in about 2 weeks. All these people will start complaining about like how much of a drag the holidays are, And look, I'm not talking about somebody who like they just lost their dad and it's a hard season coming up because that's tough. I'm not talking about that. That's legit, of course. That's the thing that happens. Like, I'm talking about the people that are just like, man, being a parent during Christmas is a drag. Like, oh my God, you are fucking up your life worse than your teenager on drugs if that's your mindset. Honestly, being a parent with kids during the holidays is one of the greatest things I've experienced in all of life. And if that is nothing but stress and like bother for you, you need some help. And I've made this offer for the last 2 years. I think I've offered like $50. If anybody is like, thinks the holidays suck, I will teach you how to do it right, because clearly you haven't been taught. And I can do that. I'll be your holiday consultant for $50. I will give you a kick-ass holiday. Now, or you can check out the Go Monadnock Holiday Guide, in which I will give very specific advice for not fucking up your own holidays. Because, if your holidays suck, 9 times out of 10, it's you. So we're here. We are here to help. But anyways, this guide, we do directly need your help in terms of putting this guide together. We need to hear from, like, if you have a business or an event that should be listed in there, of course we want to hear from you. I want to be clear, there's no guarantees. Just because you send us something, it might not get in there, but we want to hear from you. We encourage you to put that out there. Also, if you want to sponsor aspects of the holiday guide, we're going to have multiple sponsorship options. That's another thing you can reach out to Sam about. But there's a lot of opportunities there. We can highlight your business or event in such a way as to, make it one of the things that people really can't miss when they come to find out what they're supposed to be doing for their holidays. So we're really stoked about this. It's going to be a great holiday season, despite all of the negative astrology and the bad vibes and all that other stuff. Fuck that. We're going to have a good time. We're going to do it together, and we are going to show you how. Anything to add to that? Probably not.
No.
That sounded so final and so complete. even if I did have something, it's like, well,
yeah,
you just rounded it out there.
Yep. All right. We got a few more stories we got to run through real quick, because we are actually getting close to out of time, given that we already have a guest coming on in the end of this. But update from last week, there is at least one person in this area, Brian, who has a real cannon. So angry letter writer out there who wants a real cannon in the reenactments. We know of one. It was cast in the mythic forges of Iowa, and it actually shoots things. So this is a cannon, and this is a guy who knows how to make a cannon because he cast it himself. This cannon is here for reenactments or actual battles. Either one, whichever comes first. So I don't know. More to come on this developing story. We will provide more information as we have it. But this came from a listener, actually. Said, there is an actual cannon in town. Little known fact. So I don't know. We'll see what we can do with that fact there. And since I have not yet renewed my subscription to one of the newspapers.
Which one?
Which
newspaper?
What's going on? What's going on in the Ledger Transcript this week?
Well, the top story, the most exciting story, is that it is a big day for bridge work. And in fact, may I quote Seth McLean, the Peterborough Director of Public Works and Assistant Town Administrator. It's a huge milestone after a ton of work, and I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it rhymes. It rhymes. This is a big Seth article right here. Seth Bag.
Yes.
Great rhyming quote. Everybody's got a rhyme in the newspaper now. It's a new thing.
It is a big day. A lot of activity in the downtown that day going to be happening, according to Seth in this article. They're pouring the concrete on the bridge. So the bridge, there's already been a ton of activity. It's looking great. The stones are in place. I went and looked, and they're all like hand numbered, and they've been putting them back in order. I did notice some that were not in order. It really stresses me out. I'm going to try not to think too hard about that. It was like a couple that were transposed. I'm going to just let that slide.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do.
I can do.
There's nothing to be done. It's what it is.
But as Seth says in this article, after the concrete is poured next Tuesday, it will look very much like a bridge once it's poured. This is a huge event, and I think a lot of people will actually see the full arch shape of it at that time. So
I can't wait.
I'm gonna go down there and watch some concrete be poured.
I think I am too. I think we should go live. I think we should broadcast live.
Do it
from the bridge becoming a bridge. Yeah, the only thing is, what day does it say in the paper that it's happening?
It's Tuesday, the 16th.
Oh, Tuesday. I could do Tuesday.
It says it's going to be like an all-day thing. 14 hours from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m.
That's right.
68 truckloads of concrete every 20 minutes or so, delivering 750 cubic yards of concrete. Seth knew all those numbers. He had them at his fingertips. We should... Thank you, Seth.
We're going fucking live on the iPhone 13.
All right. We're doing
busting out the big guns for this.
You're gonna cover the whole event though? Be there at 5 a.m. for the first hour?
We're gonna camp out in the parking lot.
We're gonna be like Peter Jennings on 9/11, like just broadcasting 24 hours straight. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how many are dead, but they're pouring that concrete and it looks like a bridge.
Wait! The arch shape. Can you see it? Yes, it's an arch
shape developed by the Romans. And here today in Peterborough. We get a library and an arch. We don't know how lucky we have it. So really that's a big deal, really.
It is. So we don't need to belabor that because we'll be covering that in great depth.
Yeah, me and Bill talked about it a little bit too, so you'll hear a little more color from the select board on that subject.
All right, but we also have some animal tales this week. I don't know where to start. What's that?
The animals deserve our attention.
They do. In the police log, we'll go with this one because it's farthest back in time, because the police log is like almost a month ago. There was a call about some turkeys, and I'm really bummed about this for real, because I am worried that these are the turkeys that previously lived in my neighborhood. There were 8 turkeys dead on the side of 202, and I haven't seen the neighborhood turkeys since then, so I'm sad.
That sounds like a coordinated attack.
It said in the police log that they appeared to have been hit by a car. I don't feel like you hit 8 turkeys on accident.
No, that sounds mean. Yeah, that sounds like somebody mowed them down.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah, it kind of is.
There's like, if it is my turkeys that live in my neighborhood, there's like one little renty one. It's like still looks like a teenager, and the other ones are all like grown up, and I don't know. I like them. I hope it's not them.
I hope not.
I'll keep an eye out. But
Rest
then
in power,
also
9 turkeys.
What's that?
Rest in power, 9 turkeys.
Rest in power. I know. I don't have the police log open here, but there was another call, another animal related call, which was just a few days later. And this call was a resident reported finding 2 cows on his property. Upon arrival, found there were 9 cows there, and the police assisted with getting them back to their owner. So my best guess is that the turkeys became cows and just like reincarnated right there.
You guys ever heard of Occam's razor? You know, like the simplest explanation is usually the truth. You know, that's what we have right there. The turkeys died, the cows appeared. What do you think? You do the math.
How else do 2 cows become 9?
Seriously, they're cows. They're huge. You can't. They don't just like arrive. You know, like unbeknownst.
Like moose.
Yeah, like moose. Moose died.
That's the other animal tale.
Yeah.
There was a moose accident. I don't think that one was on purpose, because I don't think that's
no one would do that.
Do.
That would be a bad move to do on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know if I know all the details of that one. I know that a moose was hit on 202. Don't know where that relates to the site of the turkey death. Could just be a bad spot for animals.
Interesting.
Could be. I read that they called the local hunter, tagged it, and let him take the meat.
Interesting. Yeah.
At least it didn't go to waste.
Yeah. Now I wonder though, like for that hunter, right? Like if he had like a moose license or whatever, does getting the roadkill moose mean he can't go shoot his own?
It's a good question. Maybe he got an exemption.
That's a good question.
Maybe he gets a bonus moose.
Bonus moose.
How much fucking meat do you get off of a moose? Like dead serious. I mean, that's got to be hundreds of pounds of like. And who can butcher a moose? Like, who knows how to do that?
This guy,
like
probably.
A moose hunter.
Yeah.
Oh,
it should be a TV show, for fuck's sake. The Moose Hunter.
No, but right? I mean, like deer hunters usually like send their deer to like a
sometimes
like a guy.
Do they?
Some of
my neighbor growing up had like deer hanging in the trees.
I saw one the other day. Yeah.
All the deer hunters I know, like they give it to. I mean, yeah, they drain the blood out, but then you give it to like the butcher. Just like the farmers don't kill their own cows, you know what I mean? Like they somebody processes the meat, you know. So maybe the same butchers that process the farm cows could. I don't see why they couldn't do a moose.
Maybe they do a moose.
Like similar anatomy, like big four-legged
they're all mammals. Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know if you can cut up one, you can cut up another. If you can do a pig and a cow, you can also do a moose. That's my extrapolation.
Definitely, if you can do a deer, because that's like
totally.
It's a wild animal, so that makes it more similar.
I don't think I've ever eaten moose though. Have you guys ever eaten moose?
Never had moose. No.
Definitely not.
I totally would. I would love to have.
I would too.
Love to have moose.
I wonder how it is.
Would love to have a moose. I always love.
We ought to get some moose.
Yeah, I think maybe
it's achievable.
We gotta find a moose hunter and film his butchering process so that we have that on Sam's show, the Moose Hunter.
Yeah.
and then we can eat some of it.
And write a review.
Yes.
For reviews.
Seriously, I want a moose meat review.
Let them know. Let everybody know. Everybody wants to know. And nobody probably does.
I'm really curious. I'm more curious about bear. I feel like moose is probably pretty similar to deer.
To deer.
So?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but because it's like obviously they're like antlered four-legged animals and stuff, but it's just the scale is so much different. I wonder if that makes it
taste bigger.
Who knows? Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, like how marbled, like how fatty is moose meat? You know what I mean? Like, what if moose are larger but actually leaner than deer? And then maybe it doesn't taste as good. But I don't know. Aren't deer, because venison's pretty lean, right? There's not a lot of fat in venison.
And I guess moose eat different stuff, right? Like, because they eat a lot of algae and like weird pond stuff too.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Pretty sure.
What the hell did deer eat? They eat plants,
bark,
right?
Bark and stuff. Leaves.
Yeah, that sucks. That must suck.
My peach tree. That's what deer eat.
Interesting. Well, that I think is that the news for the week? Is that those the big stories?
That's the news.
That's the news for this week, and really, that's going to have to be our show because we need time for this delightful interview with our friend Bill. So, thank you, my dear co-host, for joining me once again in the Space Lounge. Thank you all out in the studio audience, because of course, after the interview, the show is going to be concluded. Just a note, I want to say thank you to Chad Patterson, our sound lord, aka producer, at Studio 117. Go to studio117.net for any of your audio production and mixing needs. I just want to say that explicitly because one time on the program I said studio117.com, and it is that will not get you the sound that you want. That's a porn site, actually.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if it really is, but that would be terrible if I sent you guys to the wrong place and you were expecting a nice, friendly, benign sound production studio, and you got some grotesque obscenity.
It'd be like in high school when you typed in whitehouse.com. Did you ever do that one?
That's what I was thinking of. Is that like yeah. It's like, that is a classic of the internet. Classic. Does that still happen? I don't want to try it now.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't.
Someone should write a review about that.
Yeah, right. Forgotten, tricky named porn sites of the web, of Web 1.0. All right, everybody. On that note, that's our show. Thank you for joining us tonight. Until we talk to you again, please do yourself a favor and take good advice. All right, everybody, we are joined here in the Space Lounge by none other than town luminary and select board member Bill Taylor. Bill, thanks for coming on.
Hi there, happy to be here.
So we actually just got off to a false start a moment ago. Had some perhaps some internet difficulties, which is a great reminder of the fact that Bill, you worked on the plan to bring fiber internet to town.
Yeah, for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, and that resulted in a deal that is good for residents, good for the town. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was it was a pressing issue to begin with, and then there was something like a pandemic or something along those lines that happened. That
I heard a little something about that.
Yeah, I was in the paper a couple of times.
Yeah.
That showed that with so many more people going home and kids trying to be in school on their internet, that something had to be done. So there was a couple of meetings. Karen Hatcher was involved with it for a while, but when I started, I kind of took over and went to a few meetings with Maggie Hassan and her team and some towns that have done it before. And then I just started going right for Consolidated. My first idea was to get Consolidated and Y Valley to join forces, which would have been cheaper probably for everybody, but I guess they just couldn't get it together. So we ended up going through the whole bid process, and Consolidated and Comcast both bid on it. Consolidated's bid was exceptional, particularly compared to Comcast, and that's a route we ended up going, and now you can probably see the trucks all over town.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have seen them run the cable right by the house a couple, maybe 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're up my road. It's hopefully it all goes according to plan. They're going to start hooking up individual houses in December.
That's wicked exciting.
Thrilling. Particularly for me, because my internet is the equivalent of soup cans in spring.
Yeah, which I just can't even fathom, because I'm here with my 200 megs of Comcast, and I'm still like, this isn't enough. It's not enough. We need more power. So fiber, man, it's I'm stoked. So that's the good news. The bad news is you're taking out another bridge, I hear.
We're probably going to take them all out.
If people don't shut up, is that what the punishment's going to be? We're going to take down all the bridges?
Right now we're trying to see which one would affect people the most to decide which one we're going to take out next.
You guys should just drag your feet on the Main Street Bridge now. You know what I mean? Like, don't give that another year, right?
I think we could. I mean, we might. Who knows?
No, really, I can't believe though they're pouring concrete in that thing. I think 1 week from today, maybe.
That's right. The 16th.
Yeah, the 16th. Wow. Okay, so less than a week from today, probably right around the time this episode comes out, they'll be pouring concrete in the new Main Street Bridge.
That'd be fantastic. Do you know that the other day I went to Beltate's, and that bridge project took maybe an extra whole 2 minutes of my life?
I don't believe it, man. Were you pulling your hair out?
Oh, I almost drove right off it.
It is, it's mind-boggling, the inconvenience, like going from zero traffic to that 2 or 3 minutes You know, I mean, we all take a big efficiency hit with things like that.
Yeah. Well, there's no way to plan 2 minutes into your day.
No, not at all. Not at all. And, you know, and now though, you know, now it isn't really you, right? Isn't it the state? The state's coming in. Chris Sununu's coming in and taking out our liquor store bridge.
Yeah, that's right. The state DOT.
Yeah, and awesome on the timing there.
Yeah, it was great. They gave us almost a week's notice. Before
not like that's another important bridge or anything, you know.
No, I mean it's not that big of a deal.
2-year project, you know, right in the middle of 101 and 202.
Yeah, we weren't involved in all the meetings that we were supposed to on that one. And then all of a sudden we got the notice they were starting right around when everybody else did. I think we were able to push them back a month. So
that's
could be simultaneous that we'll be driving on the Main Street Bridge.
Yeah.
And the good news is that there'll be more traffic downtown and everybody will be upset about that. So,
but more traffic downtown. It's great for local businesses, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know a single person that went to any of those local businesses that stopped because there was one less way out of 7 to get into town.
Yeah, I've been without that bridge. I've been refusing to go to like Toadstool and stuff like that. Like I won't go the other way.
Even though you live on the other side of the bridge.
It doesn't even make sense for me to go over the Main Street Bridge, but it's a principle thing. You know?
No, I understand.
If other people are inconvenienced by a few minutes, you know, I don't want to like take that privileged position where I can just go the other way easier, you know? It isn't right.
Well, it's important to think about the lesser people.
That's exactly correct. Yeah. So, hell of a time to be a selectman. You picked a great time to run, 2019. Very, very boring time in our history.
Yep. Right up until election day.
Yeah, right. None of what we've seen since you have been in office could have been predicted, I think. Fair to say. How has your experience matched up with what your expectations were going in?
Well, I didn't have a lot of expectations, which was good because I would have been pretty disappointed. Sure. But you know, it's you just got to do the job. The hits keep on coming, and you got to handle it. Take care of the people in the town. So that's what we do. Yeah.
No doubt. And it has not been easy for any of you guys. Like the having a pandemic to deal with is one thing, but I also you know, and correct me if I'm mistaken in saying this, but I think that just in general, for a variety of reasons, probably some indirect effects of the pandemic, but maybe some other causes, but people have just been maybe a little more heated than usual, I think.
Yeah,
is that
I would have to agree with that. I don't know if it's came at the same time as you know, more people being on the internet, and maybe because they were home from work. I don't know.
Could be. Yep. That's not a unreasonable. I am here. Can you hear me? Did I lose you? I see you. Maybe it's me. We need the fiber internet. Can't wait till we get it. And we have momentarily lost Bill. He may be back again. Just underscoring the need for our consolidation. All right, awesome. Yeah, just you know, underscoring the need for that fiber. Yeah, big time. No, I think you're right though. You had just been saying that a lot of people were you know, forced to be home and perhaps a little bit more online than they might otherwise have been. And yeah, I also think that there's a little bit of a kind of a pressure cooker aspect when you get everybody forced to sort of stay home, even with one another, right?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't any more happy about it than anyone else.
Neither was I. No, neither was I. Yeah, no, and not that I've been cool-headed and calm this whole time myself, to be sure.
Definitely a tough road.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been easy, but it's cool having you on the board, because as I'm sure you've seen, and so myself, right, I've been in Peterborough for 8 years or so, which is a very short period of time in terms of like the people in this town. But I've also found that like it seems like there's there's a whole bunch of people who have been here for a while, but not necessarily their whole lives, and definitely not necessarily like multiple generations. Like I was surprised. I was late to find out, maybe just a couple months ago, that like Tyler himself, I always thought he was like a Peterborough native, but he's a transplant. He's a carpetbagger. That guy, he's good at it. He fits in.
I like Tyler a lot. We do a lot of good things together. He's very, very reasonable person.
Yeah, no, he is. He's maybe too reasonable sometimes, but I love the guy too. But but you though, the Taylor family, as I understand it, goes back quite a ways in Peterborough. Back to if not its founding, its refounding or something like that. So I imagine you kind of come at it with a bit more of a storied perspective, right? Having the weight of the generations on your shoulders.
That's sort of, and that's quite a bit of weight.
Yeah.
Particularly because, like the first guy in my family that started out was BFW Russell, who was the architect for the townhouse. And
okay. Yep.
He bought our property and built the house that I'm in right this minute for himself.
And how long ago was that?
That was like around 1912, I think he bought this property. And 1918 is when they built the townhouse. And they were looking for architects that would design something that would basically shape the type of people that would be attracted to the town. That was the goal.
Right. Makes sense. Yep.
And you can see the townhouse looks a lot like Faneuil Hall and the Museum of Fine Art, both stuff that he had worked on with his boss.
Yeah. That was another funny thing that I looked at for years and never noticed how similar it is to Faneuil Hall in the front.
And he, like myself, loved the town so much that he did that design work for free.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
And then went on to design the Historical Society and the original Guernsey building, which is the mirror image of it directly across the street.
I see. Yeah. So all of those kind of like really critical Main Street, Grove Street buildings, they have that similarity and like uniformity of design because they were designed by the same guy.
That's right.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So
shortly after that, he talked Mr. Parmalee, who owned the hospital property, and I could have some of this wrong, but he built the original mansion up there for he and his wife or girlfriend or whatever. And before it was completely done, she passed away of some horrible disease like polio or something.
Oh,
and
no.
It was sitting up there finished and unused, and he wanted nothing to do with it. And my great-grandfather talked him into donating the property for the purposes of a hospital.
Wow. So that's how MCH came about.
That's right.
Way back. I'm sure it wasn't called that then, but that's wild.
Yeah. Quite a thing. There's even a letter on the wall in there.
Yeah. That's quite a pedigree to come out of. You know? I mean, that's a critical time. I mean, and it's interesting too, because Peterborough is kind of a funny town, right? Because like while it had its like mill activity in those days, like it didn't really have its, initial flashpoint as early as some of the other towns. It really is in that kind of 20th century era that the Peterborough that we know today was constructed, and planned by people like your ancestors.
Yeah, believe it or not, that the whole entire townhouse from start to finish, from the day they started digging in the dirt to the day they had the grand opening and were starting to have functions in it, was about 6 months.
Wow.
Can you imagine getting anything built in 6 months now?
Yeah. So wait, I'd be careful admitting that, because you're going to, people are going to hear this and be like, oh, I see. So Bill's great-great-great-grandfather was able to build the townhouse in 6 months, but Bill can't do a bridge in 2 years.
No. Yeah, well, that's absolutely right. I mean, oh, how the mighty have fallen.
The decline of civilization.
Yeah, I neither designed nor built the bridge.
Yeah, right. Yes, true. Yes, to be clear for everybody. That is true. Yeah. So what else? What do we have to look forward to in the town going forward? Like not just like in the immediate future, like our fiber, but like, what do you think? What's the future hold in store? Are we going to start taking over other towns? I asked Corinne this too. In 20 years, central authority breaks down. Like, should Peterborough start annexing neighboring areas?
Well, on the advice of an attorney, I've been told not to speak about that. I mean, we're looking. Right. I mean, hypothetically, we're looking at some of the smaller towns, to bring in first.
I think that's where you'd have to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to resist, though. Like, I hear that those temple people, up on the other side of the mountain, they don't like the idea.
Yeah, I'm more worried about Greenfield, but
yeah, I know. Well, Greenfield is tricky, and it's just if they wanted to do like a guerrilla war resistance, they would have a pretty easy time, I think.
I think they're pretty well armed.
Yeah, I definitely think so. So, things to consider for sure. Well, Bill, thank you for joining us on the program. We'll have you on again. We will have to entice your other select board comrades to come on in turn as well. But thank you for joining us. And for those of you who don't know, Bill writes for our Voices section as well. He's got a great piece. It's actually, he doesn't believe it, but it's actually the most popular Voices column so far. It's one of our first ones we ever put out, was about perspective. And he's about to write a follow-up on, was it compassion?
Yeah. That's going to be my next topic, probably this afternoon.
I can't wait. And so that will probably come out online in print online around the same time as the episode comes out, perhaps in a week or so. So something to look forward to there. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Bill. And we'll catch up again soon.
You got it. Thanks, Chris.